Glen Edward Baxter and Danica dated throughout high school and married in April of 2012. The couple had 3 children. 2 sons, 3-year-old Rain and 2-year-old Natsia, and a daughter, 1-year-old Zariah. However, Baxter had anger issues which caused a strain on their marriage. After 4 years, 25-year-old Danica could no longer handle it. She moved out with their children. 27-year-old Baxter tried to reconcile with Danica, but she refused due to him not addressing his anger issues. She wanted to do better for herself and her children. She offered to get back with him, but only if he would undergo anger management classes, but he flat out refused. On October 17th, Glen picked up the kids at a mutual location for the weekend. The next evening he called Danica's cell phone, and told her he was going to run away with the children if she didn't meet him. He told her she would never see her kids again. Danica's mother asked if she needed her to go with her to get the kids, but Danica told her mother she would be fine, and she would call her when she got back home. At 12:15 p.m. on Sunday morning, Tempe police received a 911 call.
911, emergency.
So I'm at Tippytown Lake, off of Rural, and on the north side, I'm on the south side lake, on the north side of the lake, a car just went in the water. Just get in the car and get buckled up now.
Do you see people?
I'm on the other side of the lake. I would assume there are people in there, because the truck was just parked up on the field.
It was a truck?
Yeah, I think it was a truck. I mean, heard it go in and we saw the brake lights go on there.
Is that truck fully submerged?
The truck is fully submerged at this point.
Okay, I'm going to get the fire department. I'm going to get the fire department on the phone with us. Stay on the line, okay?
Yep. And that's just message that I... That's for somebody we don't even know. Yeah. What happened to you?
Hey, fire attack, Tempe Town Lake.
We're at the Tempe Town Lake, on the north side of Rural, on the north side of the lake, just east of Rural Road. A car, by In-N-Out Brothers, a car just went into the lake. Okay. Yeah, it's right on that apartment complex. So it's by Scottsdale, by Rural and Real Salado? I really don't know this area, but it's on the north side of the lake. Okay. On the same side as In-N-Out Burger. I would assume so, because the car was just parked there, but I wouldn't see anybody come out, so. Okay.
Fire, I think we actually already called you guys.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't show any call in. What do you going to a lake at Tempe Town Lake?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys wanted to head out there, but we're heading out.
Rural on the north side of the lake?
Yeah, we
are. Yeah. We're on the other side of the lake now. Okay. So we're pulling up to where we believe the truck just went in. Okay, and you saw it go in, right? We heard the crash, and then we saw the brake lights actually become submerged. They're on the line with me. Petey, do you have any type of address? Yeah, there's definitely a truck.
I put in 550 East Tempe Town Lake.
On the side of the parking garage on that,
by the Grigio? The Grigio?
Yeah, it's flipped over. Okay. Yeah, I don't know the name of the apartment complex. It's on the north side of the lake, just east of Rural. So I don't know the name of the apartment complex, but that's where it is.
What is your name, sir?
My name is Brett.
Are you willing to accept contact if officers need to call you?
Yeah, well, we're here, so we'll probably be here until somebody shows up, in case anybody...
Sorry, what?
Did you hit the truck? You know, it's upside down right now. So I can't really call her. It's upside down, man. I can't tell you if it's a truck or not. Oh, it's a car. No, it's a car. Yeah, I mean, whoever it is. Lights are still on. Okay. Okay, and it's what, just south of In-N-Out Burger?
Yes.
Yeah, it would just be south of In-N-Out Burger. So Park Ranger just showed up. Nobody's still come out, so. Oh, I see police officers coming out, yeah. Okay, Katie, we should be there shortly.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir, can I get your phone number? Okay, great, see you shortly. We don't know.
Nearby fishermen raced to the area where the vehicle entered the water. Officers arrived around the same time. 3 officers and 2 fishermen risked their own lives in an attempt to save the people trapped inside the submerged car. Glen, Danica, Natsir, and Zariah were all pulled from the car. All 4 were unconscious. CPR was immediately given, and all were rushed to the hospital. It wasn't until hours, when the identity of the family was confirmed, that officers discovered the couple had a 3rd child unaccounted for. They went back to the submerged car and found the couple's oldest child, Rain, still strapped into his car seat in the very back, a 3rd row seat. He was wearing his pajamas. After the first 4 members of the family were taken to the hospital, Glen, Danica and Zariah all passed away not long after arriving. 2-year-old Natsir held on. However, later in the evening, his little body gave out and he passed away. A grainy surveillance video from a nearby building shows Glen Baxter park his wife's Nissan SUV. He got out of the car, then walked down to the lake for a moment, as though he's checking for the best route to go into the lake. He peers over into the lake for a moment, then walks down a little ways and peers into the lake again. He then placed Danica's cell phone under a park bench. Once he's found a clear spot he wants to drive the car in from, he walks back. He walks back up to the SUV and gets into the driver's seat. It's unclear what Baxter is doing at this point, but it's speculated that he pulled the keys from the ignition before he walked down to the lake, and more than likely is starting the car back up. It's hard to say if Danica was aware of what Baxter was about to do. Here you see Baxter back up the SUV so he can have enough room to accelerate before going into the water. Then sped deliberately into the lake. The SUV hit an embankment at high speed, flipped over and landed upside down in the water. Detectives have been working around the clock on this investigation, Tempe Police Lieutenant Michael Pooley said in a public statement. He continued, "New evidence shows that Baxter took deliberate actions when he drove his family into the Tempe Town Lake." The Maricopa County Medical Examiner's Office ruled that all 4 of the family members' deaths were homicides, and Glen Baxter's death was ruled a suicide. None of the bodies showed any signs of trauma. All family members died from drowning. The investigation found a gun in the car, which sheds some light on why Danica did not try to flee the car with her children. Police believe she was being held against her will by gunpoint. Police speculate that it would have been impossible to try to run away while he was looking at the lake with 3 children all under the age of 3. She was trapped with no way out. During the investigation, numerous family members said that Glen Baxter threatened to kill his entire family if Danica did not get back with him. Danica's aunt, 39-year-old Tamika Franklin said, "I'm trying to figure out how he parked the truck and was walking along the lake and there was no movement at the car. I'm thinking my niece was unconscious already. If she was conscious, she would have either locked the door, or honked the horn. She would have scooted over to the driver's seat. I just can't see my niece not trying to get out of there." Franklin said that during their marriage Baxter became too controlling. He wanted to control her every movement. She would go to the store, and he would say, "You've been gone such and such a time, why aren't you back yet?" She went on to describe how Baxter treated his children like they were in boot camp. He would force them to sit quietly, and force them not to be running around. He didn't let the kids be kids, she said. He would say, "Sit there, sit up straight, wipe your nose, stop slobbering, stop drooling." Franklin continued, that was the main part of her deciding that enough was enough. Franklin choked back tears as she described how the two had been separated for 8 months, and Danica was planning to serve him with divorce papers. She said, "It had been months, I don't know why he decided to do something now." She was moving on and he seemed to be moving on. Danica's cousin said that Danica kept most of her marital issues personal, but that family knew Glen had a dangerous temper. The cousin said that she was scared of him, and what he would do if she left him for good. Many were traumatized by the scene. "We train our bodies," Pooley said, "but it's extremely hard to train our minds for what we saw early Sunday morning." Pooley confirms the couple were separated, and said that the two had met Sunday evening to discuss custody issues. Maricopa County Superior Court records show Baxter was charged with aggravated assault on a police officer in 2012. A probable cause statement said Baxter spit in the officer's face and began fighting him. That charge was later dropped because there wasn't enough evidence. On November 3 in 2015, friends and family gathered at the Berean Church in Phoenix, Arizona to say goodbye to Danica, Rain, Narzia, and Zariah. The two boys were buried in a blue casket together. And mother and daughter were buried in a single lavender casket. During the service, Glen Baxter's name was never mentioned. On October 26 in 2015, balloons were released to remember Danica and her 3 children, Rain, Narzia, and Zariah. Glen Edward Baxter had anger and control issues. He destroyed his marriage with violence, then when his wife couldn't take it any longer and left with the children, he did the ultimate act of violence by killing them all. It was about control and power. He felt ownership over his wife and children. He was nothing short of a beast who deserved his ending, but his wife and children did not. He was a selfish narcissist. This was a senseless act that is beyond comprehension. When his wife left him, she should have moved far away, and sought a protection order immediately against him for her and her children. She should have stayed hidden until he moved on with someone else. When someone has a violent history with anger issues, you must protect yourself and your children from harm. You can never trust a monster to do the right thing. May the victims in this case rest in peace. That concludes this episode. Keep your eye out for the next volume, coming soon. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.
Want to help support the channel you love, and get something in return? Simply purchase some Elizabeth's Chronicles merch. We have coffee mugs, t-shirts, sweatshirts, cozy blankets, beach towels, phone covers and more. Use the coupon code EC10OFF4U and get 10% off your order. The link to order is in the description area below this video. Thanks for helping Elizabeth's Chronicles continue to make the videos you love.